everyone! Today I am doing another book tag. I am doing the book Courtship tag 2.0 because I actually did this tag on my channel like 2 years ago when I had first created my channel, but I'm not sure if that video is still up. I think I either privated it or deleted it. So either way, I'm doing it again. I will leave a link to the original creator's video in the description box. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but I was tagged by Amanda over at The Naughty Librarian. I will also leave a link to her video in the description box. You should definitely go and check out her channel. I love her videos. And yeah, let's just get started with the questions. Phase 1 is Initial Attraction, a book you bought because of the cover. So one that immediately springs to mind is The Aviary by Kathleen Odell. This is a middle grade novel. I read it a little bit ago. I really enjoyed it. It's a like historical fiction kind of book, but I had originally seen this on Goodreads and it felt like a very Alice in Wonderland-esque cover, which it's not really anything like Alice in Wonderland, the actual story, but the cover really struck me as that, so I added it to be read on my Goodreads without even looking at what it was about, and then I happened to come across it on Book Outlet, and then again without even looking at it, I just bought it, and yeah, I really enjoyed it, so that was a pretty good cover buy in my opinion. Phase 2 is First Impressions, a book you bought because of the summary. For this one, I'm actually going to go with The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. This is one I would not normally pick up a classic, especially one this big, but the summary of it sounded a little bit of like a Sweeney Todd story, like guy is imprisoned falsely and then seeks revenge. So that's why I bought it, because I love Sweeney Todd, and I thought that sounds like a pretty good summary. Still haven't read it though, because do you see the size of this? Phase 3 is Sweet Talk, a book with great writing. This I'm just gonna go with any one of Marissa Meyer's books, like any of the Lunar Chronicles. I have Heartless over there, which I loved. I just love her writing. It's super like addictive and it flows really easily and I just love it. Phase 4 is First Date, a first book of a series that made you want to pursue the rest of the series. I don't really understand this question because that would literally be any first book of a series where I've read all of the books, because obviously if I read the series then it means I enjoyed the first book. So just to name a few: Cinder by Marissa Meyer, The Fire Within by Krista Lacey, The Selection, The Hunger Games, Twilight for goodness sakes, like any first book in a series where I've read all the books. Phase 5 is Late Night Phone Calls, a book that kept you up all night long. For this I'm actually going to go with a pretty recent read, and that is 10 by Gretchen McNeil. This is a young adult thriller that's like a modern YA version of And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, which is one of my all-time favorite books. But this one follows a group of 10 teenagers who are invited to a party on this island and then they start getting killed off. And I read this book in one day, in 2 sittings, which is super rare, and it kept me up all night just because of the suspense and the mystery, and I just super enjoyed this book. If you're a fan of And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, or if you like YA mystery thrillers, I would totally recommend this to you. Phase 6 is Always on My Mind, a book that you could not stop thinking about. That would definitely have to be The Fire Ascending by Krista Lacey. This is the final book in the Last Dragon Chronicles, which you guys know is my all-time favorite book series, so obviously as the final book, it stuck with me for a while, and I bawled my eyes out when I finished this book, simply because, not just because like it ended sadly or it ended happy, it was just because the story was over and I was so sad. So I think about this book a lot. Phase 7 is Getting Physical, a book in which you love the way it feels. I don't think I really have an answer for this question. Like, all books feel nice. I'll tell you what kind of book covers I don't like though, and those are the ones that they're like very soft to touch, but then if they get any kind of dirt or anything on them, it will not come off. One of the book series that has these kinds of covers is the Twisted Tales series, which I laid them down like this, which means the covers, the top one got dust on it, and now it won't really come off. Yeah. Phase 8 is Meeting the Parents, a book in which you would recommend it to your friends and family. And I don't really have an answer for this one because I feel like there's no one book that everyone in my friends and family would enjoy. I also read primarily YA, and most of my friends and family are like adults, so I feel like they probably wouldn't like YA like I do. But one book that I think could be like universally enjoyed by people of different like ages and interests and stuff like that is Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. It's an adult book, but like everyone's pretty familiar with the film. Like I grew up watching the film, and the book, even though it's very different from the film, was super entertaining and enjoyable. So yeah, I would recommend this book. Phase 9 is Thinking About the future a book or series that you'll know you'll reread many times, and I have a couple of answers for this. I'm not the biggest rereader, so I'm not saying that I will read these books many times, but I would like to. One of them would of course be The Last Dragon Chronicles by Krista Lacey. It's my all-time favorite series. I've read it twice so far, but I really want to read it a third time. I'm currently rereading The Lunar Chronicles and I'm loving it, so I'm sure I would love to reread it again in the future. And then just to name a couple more, Alice in Wonderland, I've read that 3 times, I think. That is my most reread book I've ever reread, and I'm probably going to reread it lots and lots of times in the future. Also, Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, I haven't reread that at all, but I really want to. So yeah, those are all of the questions. I'm not going to tag anybody because I'm not sure who has and hasn't done it, and it's a pretty old tag, so I'm sure a lot of people probably already have. But if you haven't done it and you want to do it, then consider yourself tagged by me. And yeah, that's all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!